Hi, my name is Dr. Anita Matthew. I'm an infectious disease consultant here in Fortis Mulund. This particular video that we are shooting today is basically to find out and to give you a kind of an information as to what we need to do in patients of COVID who are home isolated. One of the common things that we get to know from the patients when we interact with them with a teleconsult is that what do we do in terms of an isolation? How do we isolate ourselves? So if you are fortunate enough to have separate rooms with a well self-contained washroom, that's the ideal thing to do to isolate. So you can stay in your room and you have your own bathroom to yourself. But if you do not have that kind of a facility, and if you have elderly individuals in your household, then one of the options that you could have is what we call as an institutional quarantine. So there are quarantine centers, there are other some of these hotels which we can have as quarantine facilities, which probably the BMC will be aware of. So you need to get in touch with them and look for an institutional quarantine if you are really not having too much of symptoms. We look at admission as a possibility only in patients who fit into the criteria for admission. So not everybody who is getting infected right now is requiring admission. So we need to prioritize the admissions for people who are above the age of 60 or whose symptoms are severe, and the ones who have severe comorbidities like major heart disease, diabetes which is extremely uncontrolled, patients who are immunocompromised like patients of HIV, patients who are have underwent transplant or who are on drugs that might suppress their immune system. So these are the ones that we typically look for in terms of an institutional admission into a hospital for treatment. The rest of them can be either home isolated or can stay in a institutional quarantine centers that are available. Once you are in your room, if you undergo a teleconsultation, we generally give you out a list of medications and a list of do's and don'ts, which is what we am going to talk to you all about today. In terms of your diet, you can eat and drink everything that you normally do. There is no specific diet, but of course, yes, a nutritional, well-balanced meal as well as taking adequate amount of fluid is something that is extremely important. Do take your routine medications which you are already on. So suppose if you are a hypertensive, you had a high blood pressure and you are on medicines for the same, just because you are on COVID related medications, you will not stop them. You have to continue them as well alongside with your present set of medicines. What is also important to understand is that since COVID is a respiratory illness, you will have some amount of sore throat, body ache, cold cough, headache and fever. These are the routine usual symptoms that we are especially seeing in the present wave. So these symptoms are known to be there in the patient for minimum period of 3 to 5 days. We generally expect the patient to get better in terms of the fever within 3 days. If you do not get better during that specified period of time, then you should reach out to your healthcare provider so that we can reassess whether there is any need for a further testing. But if you get fever in the first 3 to 4 days, don't get alarmed. Your routine paracetamol should be able to do the works. Avoid taking higher medications unnecessarily or over the counter pills, because they could cause more harm than causing any good. Then what are we supposed to really monitor at home? Of course, you should keep a track of your temperature, you should keep a track of your saturation levels. So saturation levels is with the help of an oximeter, which most of us would be having at home front. You need to check your temperatures at rest when you are resting, like the way I am doing right now, and then after walking around within the confines of your room for a period of about 6 minutes. Or else if you are above the age of 60, 65 and you have a issue with your knees, then you just move around in the confines of your room for a period of about 3 minutes. You need not do a brisk walk. Check your saturations both at rest and after 6 minutes or 3 minutes of walk, and if it is less than 94, then you need to report to your doctor or come to the emergency whenever it is, whichever hospital is closer to your home. What else do we need to monitor? One is temperature. So your temperatures, if they are constantly hanging around in the range of 102, 103, then that is an important sign saying that yes, there is something which is a little more than unusual and you need to get to the hospital. These are the time points when we want you to reach out to us, when your saturations are low or when your temperature is continuous despite 3 days of appropriate medication. The third time point when we would want you to reach out to us would be if the cough is persistent and incessant. So if you keep on coughing and after every single word if you land up coughing, then that means you need to get to the hospital so that we could evaluate you. The other thing is if you feel breathless. So these are the 4 important things that we would want all patients to understand, that if you are running high grade fever, if your temperatures are not touching the baseline after the first 3 days, if your saturations are less than 94, or you feel breathless or you cough out continuously, then these are the time points that you need to get to the hospital's emergency department. What we also need to do at home front is to do simple breathing exercises like pranayams, or if you know any other form of yoga for breathing, you should be doing that. And we should if you are unable to do that or perform yoga on your own, then you can use something called as incentive spirometer, which is a simple apparatus which will be available in any of the local medical shops. What is also important to know is that since the breathing improves when you sleep on your tummy, one could practice doing that for a couple of times in a day. Try to keep yourself stress free, try to think positively, that also helps equally. Lot of people have concerns about their family member, whether they should go ahead and test them. Our advice is as per the Government of India guidelines, if your family members need to wear a mask within the household, and if they do have symptoms, then they should be testing themselves. If they do not have any symptoms, the day that you guys come out of your quarantine is the day that they also come out of their quarantine. When is the quarantine period likely to end? So the quarantine period is, we call it as, it ends by the 7th day, and after the 7th day, if you do not have any symptoms, then you can walk within the confines of your house without a mask. But in case you have any symptoms, then you are supposed to wear a mask for the next 3 days as well before you come out of the household. And of course, once you come out of the house, remember, COVID is still there, you need to continue to stay masked. Thank you.